Hey everybody, thanks for joining me live here. I'm going to be talking about how to break free of subconscious mind blocks holding you back and how to interpret guidance that you receive in your dreams using a nightmare that I had a few days ago, as I said in my email to you, to decipher it. And feel free to ask any questions as you go. I will open up for Q&A towards the end. The first thing to do though is please say hi. Can I say hi here? Say hello. Let me know who I've got here and any questions that you've got up front, and we'll get going. What I'm going to be doing today is, first of all, I am going to talk about, can I do this? Yep, here we go. How do you ask your dream world for guidance and healing, which is what I did that made that nightmare happen for me. But best thing ever, because it just gave me so many learnings, and I want to pass those on to you because it can really speed up your transformation and speed up any blocks that you might be wanting to clear right now. And then we're going to go talk about my nightmare and how I discovered some core things about the subconscious mind safety zone. And I teach a lot of subconscious work in my Right Mission Money program. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, Nicola Grace, the Mission Mentor here. And I'm helping entrepreneurs clarify and monetize their mission to leave a legacy on the planet. And subconscious work is obviously a really important part. But I want to talk about the more stuff that I've discovered, because as you know, life is a journey and learnings are always unfolding. And so I want to pass those on to you. Hey, Sally. Hi, Alex. Great to see you here. Anybody else watching is a bit shy to say hello, please say hi. So I'm going to talk to you about my dream, and I'm even going to show you my picture and what it means. Oh, can you see that? The light is just a little bit overexposed. We have a bit of an issue with the lighting here today. So then I'll share with you what I learned as a way of teaching you. Hey, yay, Francesca. Hi, it's great to see you here too. And Kelly, yay. Oh my girls, it's awesome. What did I learn from the dream? So you can see the mechanics behind what I do to decipher the guidance that I'm getting. And then obviously, well, what can you do to learn from your dreams? What are the steps that you need to be taking? And 3 things you must do every single day if you want to have an experience you've never had before. If you've got a goal that you're wanting to reach, if you've got a financial target or something that's not currently happening in your life, how do you get there is one aspect of it. So that's all the mechanics of getting there. But how do you not hold yourself back from getting there? That's what I'm going to discuss, the 3 things that I do daily, which I find really useful. I'm going to talk a little bit about Entrepreneur Mind Business Brain. It's a new program that I'm piloting coming up soon, and also about reprogramming your subconscious mind summit. So those are all the goodies that we've got. While I've got you here, if you've got any questions at this stage, please fire away and I will answer those towards the end. But let's start with, how do you ask your dream world for healing and guidance? And let me just put my extra notes up here so I can see them. Because this nightmare that I had a few days ago, and I call it a nightmare because I woke up fearful. I was fearful in the dream, but it turned out to be really good, as most nightmares are, really great at giving you so much juicy guidance. So how did that happen, and what can you do to make sure that your dream world is working on your behalf? Because remember, you're the director of your experience, you're the director of your mind, you're even the director of your dream world. So if you work in harmony with your dream world, with your spirit, you can actually get a lot of guidance in that dream world. And it's a really complicated thing that you need to do in order to make sure the dream world delivers back to you. And it's simply ask what it is that you want. It's really complicated. It's so complicated that most people don't do it. I am joking a bit. So I'm actually just going to write that in the comment section. Number 1, as you go to bed, ask your dream world to heal something or reveal something. So I call it my heal and reveal prayer. So I'm doing really well in my business this year, but I have a really big goal because I want to build my beautiful home in Costa Rica. I've just put the deposit down on the land, and I'm making bigger and bigger and bigger financial decisions and big leaps. So I'm really pushing the envelope on that financial glass ceiling to get the big results that I'm looking for in my business. And it's been a struggle, as I said if you got my email, I'm really open about that. And all sorts of stuff has been firing up. So I asked my dream world one night, I was so fed up. I asked my dream world, I said, look, can you just reveal to me what I need to know so that I can finally break free and be on the other side of this block? Because it doesn't seem to matter what I do, I don't seem to be breaking free. So I'm obviously missing something. Could you please reveal it to me? So it's really important that you ask the right thing, because you don't want to ask fourth dimensional astrals. You don't want to ask naughty things out there that are going to play with you at night and come into your field. You want to be very specific about addressing it to your spirit to show you in your dream world. So for me, that's encapsulated in this idea of my dream world. My dream world in combination with my spirit. So this is physically what I do. I'm lying there. I make a direct contact with my spirit, and it's just an intention to do that. So I'm just in 10, and I say, could you please show me in my dream world what this is? And that way I don't, end up having really bad nightmares from naughty stuff that's coming into your field when you're vulnerable and you're sleeping. So it's that simple. Just ask. And then sometimes, if I remember, I'll actually ask help with the healing of my throat, because as many of you know, I've had this constant laryngitis for the last year as I've been stepping up and doing more speaking, ironically enough. And so I'll say, could you please heal my throat? And I kid you not, I wake up in the morning and my throat is completely healed. There's no coughing. But as soon as my mind kicks in, the throat stuff comes back. So I know I've got to be asking better questions. And that's my next point about this. If you keep asking the same questions and you're not getting a response, you've got to come around it at a different angle. Ask slightly differently so that you get to the core or the crux of it. And it's always good to say, could you take me right to the core, right to the crux, so that you're not going through the layer upon layer upon layer. So all you new guys that have just popped in, please say hi. I'd love to know who's here. So now I'm going to talk about, my nightmare. In answer to my dream, say, look, take me to the core of what's going on between, for me not being able to break through to this next level in my business. What is that? What is the core of it? I don't want the fluff. Just take me right to the core, is what I said before I went to bed. And then I woke up early in the morning feeling really scared, and I remembered my dream, and then I went back into the dream to do some stuff to have some resolution. So you want to know what the dream is? Of course you do. So what was happening is that I was in Sydney at the time at this really big mastermind, and I like Sydney for me. I used to live in Sydney, but the traffic is like, so I'm like walking around a little bit like this as it is. So when I got to bed, I was exhausted. And I think I took that exhaustion into the dream, as well as my fear of missing my plane, which incidentally I almost did on Monday when I flew back. So the dream starts with me packing my bags, racing to get to the airport, but I've got more stuff than my bag can allow, and I'm way over my allowance. So as I'm putting all my stuff into my bag, I'm going, but I've got these shoes, and now I've got this, and now I've got that, and it's not all going to fit in my bag. I've got too much baggage. So that's a key there. You got to really listen to the thoughts that you're thinking and the things that you're feeling in your dream, because they are really big clues. So I'm going, I got too much baggage. So then, you know how dreams just stop somewhere and then boom, that you're in another vignette. So that vignette was over, and then the next thing you know, I'm walking up this mountain, kind of, if you think of it as a volcanic crater, and there's a bit of a hill kind of mountain there. knowing that there is a big protest action coming. And so as I was going up the mountain, I saw these walls. And by the way, if you have any insights, you feel free to tell me what they are. I saw this big wall, and it was this movement of all of these people that were fighting for their rights, and they're underdogs in society, and they're fighting for their rights, and they're protesting. And so I wanted to go along and have a look. So I go behind the scenes and I go up the mountain, and when I get to the top of the crater, there's all of these people pushing up against this white rope that goes all the way around the crater, and they're pushing up against it, but they can't break free. Then down in the crater is a whole crowd of people with a rope around them, and they're trying to bust out of that, but they can't break free. And then there's these police dotted around the crater, excuse me, holding these ropes in place and not letting anybody go by. And I'm pissed off, as I often get in my dreams, with injustice. That's what I'm like in life too. And so I march up to one of these cops, and I see them. They turn around, and I'm really scared. And this is where the fear comes in. And all of a sudden I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm fearing for my life. And they get this canister, and they start to release this white milk stuff into the substance, sort of like a flare. Because in protests, they will do that. They'll release, was it tear gas or something like that, something to smoke up the place. And as he was doing that, I said, stop. And I, in my mind's eye, I pulled all of that substance back so the people wouldn't tear up. And excuse me, because I got some throat stuff coming as I'm saying this. Oh my goodness. So I haven't been to my healer yet to finish off the healing on this one. So I stopped the substance, and in my mind I saw, oh, he's letting off a flare, and something about it told me that it was like sabotage, like there's some sabotage that's about to happen. And I just went, no. And then even though I was absolutely fearful, I went, stuff this. I'm marching up to him and I'm saying, hey, we live in a democratic world. Why aren't they allowed to protest without all of this nonsense going on? They're allowed to protest, aren't they? They're allowed to go out there and, make things happen for themselves and have the right to be happy, aren't they? And then this thing turned around and it just looked at me, and now the tear is up, and it looked like a remember the old black and white minstrel shows of the 70s? It looked like a black and white minstrel. So it was like a real blackened out cop with a white face and the big clown lips, and then the Geppetto. So it looked like it was a puppet. And I said, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I kept saying it over and over again. They're allowed to do this. Why are you doing this? And it answered back in a robotic voice that scared the living crap out of me, and went, because it's not, the outcome is not known. And it was so robotic. And in the dream, that's when I started to have my consciousness come in, because obviously that's where I was starting to wake up. And I realized that these were robots. So when I came out of the dream, the very first thing I did was lie down and go right back into the dream to have a look at all of the different elements and start asking questions. So this is how, where am I up to here? This is how I got to learn from the dream. So the first thing I did is I said, well, what is this robot? Like, is it physically an implant of some kind of a robot in my mind, which I got a yes. But I also saw that the whole idea of it being blackened out with a white face is that it was unconscious mind, subconscious mind. And then I twigged and I went, oh, the rope is that subconscious mind safety zone, and all of the people that are protesting are all of the positive thoughts that I've been putting into what it is that I want to experience. And I'm pushing up against the glass ceiling, and I'm pushing, And I'm doing that consciously, but I'm also programming my subconscious mind. So down the bottom of the crater, all of those other people trying to get out of the rope, they were pushing and pushing. So that was the conscious and the subconscious mind trying to come together to break through that glass ceiling to reach this next level of my goal. But the subconscious mind safety zone, as it so often does, sends flares out that creates sabotage. So I know sabotage is a really big word, but it's a great word because it actually prevents you and sometimes destroys what you're doing to get the result that you're wanting to get. And it's also like a warning as well, right? When you send a flare out, it's usually warning, 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 danger, danger. So as I go back into the dream and I start negotiating with everything, and I'm going, okay, what's the rope? So I go, the rope is a subconscious mind safety zone. So I get that the reason why I'm not able to get to that next level in my business is I'm up against my safety zone. And there's something inside of me that's really fearful because it doesn't know the outcome because it's never had that experience before. So now I go, okay, I know the work that I need to do. Got it? Excuse me, I'm just all of a sudden, this is really interesting that all of a sudden I've got nose running, my throat's gone all dry. So this is obviously a really big thing for me. And then what was really cool is when I looked into it and I saw all of these people represented my positive thinking and my positive programming, everything I was doing, everything I was thinking. And it didn't matter how much was in there or what it was doing. It wasn't strong enough to break the subconscious mind safety zone. I actually had to start negotiating with the robots on safety to have it feel safe so it could loosen the ropes so I could get to the experience that I wanted to have. So how often have you ever had the experience where you've been doing all the right things, healing yourself, thinking positively, but you just can't reach the goal that you wanted to reach or the experience you wanted to have, right? We all have that, and we have that, probably at least once a month, if not more. So you're probably up against the subconscious mind safety zone, and it's pulling you back. Because in my dream, as the crowd moved forward to break the line strengthened and it pulled me back. So if you've ever felt held back or you feel pinned in and you're going, man, it doesn't matter what I do, I just feel like I'm pinned in, it's a subconscious mind safety zone that's holding you there. So the job then is to increase that subconscious mind safety zone, because from what I can understand, most of it is there for a good reason, because it keeps you safe from real danger, but it also goes a little bit overboard. It's a little bit overzealous. It's a little bit like a regulator that just goes across the line there and infringes on your rights. So the bottom line is that I went back into the dream and I got as much out of it as I could. And then when I came back into consciousness, I wrote it down and I actually drew it. The light, are you able to see it there? So here's the subconscious mind safety zone here, and these are the robots. And then inside here are the people inside the ropes there that weren't able to do it. So now weren't able to get out. So now when I'm looking at this, I can go, oh, great. Yeah, we're trying to break free, but we can't because we're literally being held back by this fear of the unknown, right? And that's what the darkness is. Oh, hold it higher for you. Oh, okay. If I hold it higher, the light doesn't come forward. Can you see that? I might actually just take a photo and then upload it into the comments. Is that better, Kelly? Can you see that? And you'll see my notes there as well. So the baggage was obviously I'm carrying too much baggage, and that's a huge learning for all of us, because when we want a new experience, we actually have to let go of aspects of ourselves that have got us to where we are because it's no longer needed. Your picture is hidden behind the banner. Oh, okay. What about if I did that? Is that better? there. Excuse me. Anyway, I'll screenshot it and not screenshot it, take a photo of it and upload it. Okay, good. Great, Kelly, great. So did you get that? You actually have to let go of a lot of stuff and aspects of yourself that have got you to where you are, because they won't be the aspects of you that will get you to the next level. You have to adopt other aspects of yourself, pull out other aspects of your higher potential in order to get you there. And that's what the baggage was. And there was some shoes in there too that I love, and I didn't want to let go of. So that's an indication that I'm attached to some of those things that I really need to let go of. so there's a lot in that, and the roboticness for me represented. I mean, obviously, I could go out there into the woo-woo stuff, so we're going to deal with that, fourth dimensional naughtiness. But it also represented to me the automation. It's like the subconscious mind safety zone, it's automatically there. It automatically kicks in whenever you start doing something you've never done before and it doesn't know what the outcome is. So we're going to get to how do you increase that subconscious mind safety zone in a moment. So here's the deal. If you have experiences in your mind where you're going, oh, I'm not good enough, nobody's ever going to listen to me, is this what I'm really here to do, yada, yada, yada. Those are flare thoughts. You remember the flare in my dream? Those are flare thoughts that are actually warning signals that danger could potentially be present. And so if we don't deal with that fear or that lack of safety, it's not going to matter what you think and what you do. You're still going to get held back into that subconscious mind safety zone, right? Just like in my picture here. So what do we do, right? How can we get beyond that? Well, I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But the first thing I want you to write down, what can you do to learn from your dreams? Now, the first thing to do is to actually ask. Remember at the beginning I said, just ask your dream world and just say, spirit dream world, spirit of my dream world, whatever words are going to resonate with you that's not going to call in any other energies or beings. It's just you and your dream world, please. No guides. It's too dangerous doing that in your dream world. And I don't have time here to explain why, but just your spirit, your soul, and your dream world. Just ask, this is what I'm dealing with. Can you take me to the crux of it? Or can you start healing it? Or can you show me what I need to know? Whatever it is that you're wanting to know. And just keep asking that every single night until the dreams unfold and they start to unwind for you the answers, because sometimes you get immediate answers and sometimes it takes a few days because I think somebody up there might be sleeping on the job. And I'm going, hey, wake up. I've asked a question. I want immediacy. It's me, right? It's like, why would I not talk to me immediately after I ask my own self a question? So you got to ask the question. And the next step is, and this takes practice, you bring consciousness in just as you're about to wake up. So and this is really good, especially in nightmares. Towards the end, I started confronting the fear. I started confronting the fear objects in my dream. And I'm practiced at this because I've practiced going into my dreams knowing that I am going to get involved in it. If there's guidance there and there's something that I want to know, so you can go in and you can start asking questions. And if you don't manage to do this towards the end of the dream, you practice doing it by going back into the dream after you've woken up immediately. Don't go to the loo because it just dissipates the energy. If you can handle that. And don't write it down just yet. Go straight back into lying down, bringing the vision in front of you, bringing the dream in front of you. And you start asking the symbols who they are and what they want to tell you. And then you can start writing stuff down, right? And then write it down, write everything down. So for the last couple of days, I'm still going back into the dream, asking questions because there was a lot in there. And what's happened as a result is all of a sudden I've got this huge download for a new program I was thinking of doing. And I've been thinking, oh yeah, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? What should I do? And what have you? And by going back into my dream and learning about that, it's like, man, this is something I need to pass on. So now I've got my program in play. So you don't know what you're going to get out of that process of asking, what is the rope? What does the rope represent? What does this robotic voice represent? Every aspect of your dream, just ask it. Who are you? And what role are you playing? And what's your purpose? And what have you got to teach me? Questions are so powerful, and we don't ask enough of them, I think, and we don't ask them in the right way either sometimes. So that's what you can do to learn from your dream. Hey, Sandy. Yeah, I know. It's great. Hey, it's great. It's great to see you, Sandy. So let's talk about the 3 things you must do. Oh, no, first thing I wanted to say before that, there's a lot of books out there about symbols in dreams, and you go to them and you go, what does this symbol mean? And I wouldn't ask a book. I would ask the symbol itself, because, you know, like a snake in somebody's dream, if they love snakes and they've got a great association with snakes, may have a completely different meaning from somebody who's had a life when they were strangled by snakes, or they don't, you know, they're really fearful of snakes, or it represents something, you know, not so good for them because of some religious programming that they've had. It's got to be personal to you. And the best way to know, well, what does this mean, is to ask it. Go back into the dreaming and ask it. What is it? What does this mean? Or I would actually ask a more direct question. It's like, you know, what role are you playing in my dream? What do you have to teach me? Because what does this mean is a bit too open-ended. So now we get back to the 3 things that you need to do daily, so that subconscious mind safety zone doesn't fire off those flares across the bow, which is going to bring sabotage in. And that sabotage could be something very seductive, like you're going towards a goal and you've got your concentration. I'm sure you've all had this experience. You've got your concentration hat on, and then the next thing you know, a friend calls, or your mum gets sick, or your kids call, and you've got to go and pick them up from school because, you know, they had a little bit of a scuff with somebody. And we all think those things are a natural part of, you know, our role in the world, but quite often they're coming from the subconscious mind fear, and so it's bringing up all of these distractions for you to deal with, so you don't deal with the core issue that's going on that's made them in the first place. And you've got to start getting really smart at you know, what's being thrown up in your world, and how much of that are those flares that have been sent off to actually start sabotaging what you're doing, versus, you know, something that's just part of your learning experience or part of what it is you need to do. And women in particular are very good at letting themselves off the hook on that one. So I invite you not to do that, because there's so many lessons in not allowing those distractions to throw you off course, and just, instead of racing after them, figure out another way to have, you know, whatever your responsibilities are handled, as well as stay on track with what you're doing. So it becomes a bit of a dance. So what am I? Oh yeah, cool. So here are the 3 things that I know to do daily, and I've only been doing 2 of them, but after this dream, I know I've got to do this more often. The first thing is, obviously, we need to be programming our subconscious mind and our conscious mind to be in agreement with what it is we want to experience. So you might want to call them positive affirmations or rampaging up. Alex, you know, we talked a little bit about rampaging in our mission mastermind groups. Where you just say positive things to raise your vibration, one after the other after the other. It's not like you say the same thing over and over again. You build on it so that you're raising your vibration and your frequency, because that's what's going to tripwire or trigger the subconscious mind safety zone, right? Which has to happen. You have to trigger it. Otherwise, you can't get past it. So once that's triggered, this is what I have not been doing enough of, but I know to do. And now I'm going to do it every day. That is, the next part is you've got to start talking to those robots in your subconscious mind, letting them know what it's going to look like once you actually have that goal. So for me, I've got this big financial goal, and I'm, you know, and up until, you know, a few days ago, feeling like I was struggling getting there. So now I'm in a conversation with my subconscious mind safety zone saying, look, it's going to look like this. It's going to be okay. I'm going to have so much fun. We are just going to be able to take more spa days. Man, how amazing is that? And I'm going to be able to have fun going to Buenos Aires, which is going to be my new stomping ground for the weekend because I'm moving to Central America. And we're going to meet some amazing people. And I feel very secure within myself. So, you know, there's no danger. And if there is spirits just going to come in and go, move out of the way, get out of the way. And then I'm going to be in the right place at the right time. So can you hear how I'm actually speaking as if I'm a mum speaking to a child? And then you want to get really nitty gritty details about what it's actually going to look like when you have that goal. And then not just what it's going to look like, but how safe you feel. I feel safe having $1 million. I feel safe making $1 million. I feel safe having lots of clients come towards me because I've got an assistant now who can deal with all the bookings. So my time isn't being sucked up. In fact, I've got more time. And you start talking the story of the feelings and the thoughts and the safety of this new experience that you want. Vision boards are really great. You can add these on your vision boards, and it's got to have safe everywhere. There's a lot of people teach, yes, this is what you want, visualize it, but they forget the safety part, because that's what needs to shift for the zone to just go, whoop, okay, great, we're going to increase our safety zone because that's now safe. We know the outcome. We're happy with that. We're going to let that happen. And then the ropes go down, and then boom, the people rush forward, or the thoughts rush forward, and they manifest that which you speak. Does that make sense? So that's number 2. Number 1, you've got to push up against the safety zone by writing down what it is that you want to experience, the positive affirmations. Secondly, you've got to take it a step further and explain how safe it's going to be when you have these specific experiences and what's actually going to happen. So that little black and white minstrel person that's going in there because the outcome is unknown knows the outcome and goes, oh, the outcome is known. So great. I'm okay with that. Yep, we can allow that to happen. And then the third thing is you need to remove. So we've added, right, and we've expanded, and now we need to remove anything that's contradicting that, any limiting beliefs, negative beliefs, or fear thoughts that could possibly get in the way of, you know, the crowds working towards each other. Oh, great. Alex, I'm just going to put that out there. Alex says she's been rampaging into her phone and listening to it throughout the day. That's awesome. Fantastic. So that's it. So I'm going to open it up for questions in a moment. Has anybody got any questions or anything that, you know, you want to ask about that? Yes, Sandy, I know. Yeah, Sandy says, wow, great information. I need this. And we all need this, which is why I'm sharing this. You know, I thought, wow, I can't just have this dream for myself. And on that note, I'm going to be downloading everything that I've learned in this dream. I'm going to be downloading into a new program called Entrepreneur Mind Business Brain, and it's going to be on this whole thing of rewiring the entrepreneurial brain and the business mind to be able to make better decisions and increase your subconscious mind safety zone. Because quite often in business, we won't make decisions because we're fearful. And so therefore we don't get the results. And as entrepreneurs and business owners, we've got to make those leaps of faith and those business decisions and taking those business actions that are going to push up against that subconscious mind safety zone. So I'm not going to talk too much about the program here because it's still in development. But if anybody's actually interested in learning more about that, and it might sound like it would be something that you want to investigate, please let me know in the comments section so I can send you a personal invitation once I've put it all together, which I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. But the whole point of it is you can't experience anything out of that subconscious mind safety zone. You've got to be able to expand that zone. So let's focus on it a bit more. Like, let's go, okay, cool. Let's look at the outcome that we want. And then what's the brain that we need to have? What's the mind that we need to have in order for that to happen? Because too many people get too mechanical about building their businesses and their, you know, getting out there with their purpose and their missions. And they don't pay enough attention to that. And when you think about this statistic that Bruce Lipton talks about in The Biology of Belief, he says as much as 90% of what occurs every day in our life experience is as a result of thinking in our subconscious mind. Wow, that's a lot. So how many hours of the day do we spend, or what percentage of the day do we spend attending to that subconscious mind? Very little, right? We spend most of our time doing and planning, which is important. But this other step's really important too. So I'll be telling you more about that. So who's interested in that? Who would be interested in learning a bit more about entrepreneurial mind, business brain, which is all about learning how to negotiate and expand that subconscious mind safety zone, how to have the mind of a successful entrepreneur, how to have the brain wiring of somebody who's going to succeed in business instead of 95% who fail. Please, in the comments, just say, yes, I'd be interested to learn more. I'd really appreciate that, because I will get back to you on that. Plus, if anybody's also got some questions, now's the time to ask, because I'm going to leave in a few moments. And I'm also going to put in here a summit that's all about the subconscious mind that I'm speaking on, which starts next week. So if anybody's interested in learning a lot more about how the subconscious mind works, and so that you can be making that difference and living the life you want, you can take a look at that and feel your way through to see if that's for you. I'm one of the speakers. I'm not quite sure what day I'm speaking, but I'm talking a lot about this magnetic quality that we have in our soul's purpose, and how that relates to the subconscious mind and the unconscious mind. And thanks. Thanks. What Sandy says, yes, of course she wants to do entrepreneurial mind, business brain. And then Kelly, thank you, says everything you have to teach is awesome, so I'm sure it will be amazing. Oh, thanks, Kelly. I'm looking forward to having our one-on-one soon, by the way. And you too, Sandy, which is coming up. And also, you too, Alex, and and you too, Sally, I've got you coming up too as well. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. So questions. Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts? Because Sally, I know your mind probably was ticking over. And Francisca, are you still here? Have you got anything you want to say? So now's the time, because in just a moment, I'm going to sign off. And you can go about your day. I was hoping this was going to be 20 minutes, but you know me, I get on a roll and I just got to keep talking, giving away. So I'm just going to wait, because there's a little bit of a delay from your comments. So, just do one or two sentences rather than a whole big thing, because it might come through afterwards and I'm gone. So you got any questions? Oh, you're welcome, Kelly. So, hey, those of you who are watching the replay of this, because this is on Facebook, it'll be on Facebook kind of forever. If you've got any comments or questions, anything you want to ask me, be sure to put it into the comment section. Really good question, Sandy. How does a completely right brain person do this? Ugh. Yeah, well, firstly, you can't be completely right brain, otherwise you wouldn't be alive. You do have your ability to analyze, because you're constantly analyzing. You go across the road and you look at the traffic and you go, how much time have I got to get across the road? That's left brain thinking. Your analytical mind is kicking in. So you're not 100% right brain. None of us really are. But you're right brain dominant, Sandy, because you're highly intuitive and tuned in and energetically sensitive. So this actually should be a walk in the park for you, because all you need to do is ask the questions and then hear the answers back. And if they don't make any sense to you, ask another question and just keep asking questions. But you are right brain dominant. You can very easily get into your dream world, and also especially with your heritage, being very connected to the American Indian heritage. I mean, they're visionaries, and you've got that in your blood and in your bones. So this should be a walk in the park for you. And you don't have to analyze the dream. You can just ask the questions and let the questions give you the information back. And the other thing too, because you're right brain, is draw pictures. when you've finished your dream, get the picture down on paper. Like what happened in the dream. Start writing, drawing the actual symbols and everything, because it's when you draw it, sometimes you see the symbol or the shape and it gives you more information. Anybody else got any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to love you and leave you for the day. And once again, those of you watching the replay, when you ask a question or make a comment on here, it shows up on my Facebook wall, so I can then come in and make a comment. Light bulb moments, Sandy, I love it. Awesome. We love light bulb moments. They're the best. Brill. Okay, darlings, get on with life, love, and the universe, and I'll be speaking to all of you soon. Bye-bye.